If you think Las Vegas is just about dazzling lights, magnificent casinos, and dreams of overnight fortune, then think again. Las Vegas, once a place that promised opportunities for all, is now a place where thousands are living in cars, struggling to survive day by day on the streets. Parking lots have become bedrooms, gas stations are makeshift places for washing up, and when night falls, the sirens are no longer for chasing criminals, but to disperse the homeless families huddled in their old cars like ghosts in the desert. No more dazzling lights. No more dreams of a life-changing overnight transformation. Las Vegas is now revealing its dark corners hidden behind the casinos, where compassion is dwindling along with each barrel of fuel people have to use to keep warm. In today's video, we will delve into areas that even the SWAT team refuses to step foot in, to understand why the American dream is fading right in the heart of America's entertainment capital. Las Vegas was once a symbol of the American dream, a city that rose in the desert, nourished by lights, music, and the belief that anyone could change their life with just one lucky night in the 70s, 80s, and even the early 21st century. This place was once a vacation choice, a dream destination for the middle class, those who worked hard all year to reward themselves with a few days living among the dazzling lights of casinos, buffets, and expensive shows. But today, in the same place, as night falls, what awaits is not a life-changing dream, but thousands of people struggling to survive another day, just a few blocks away from the Las Vegas Strip, where the LED lights shine brightly 24 hours a day, are old cars lined up quietly in the darkness. No one pays attention to them because they lie quietly, blending into the still night. But if you get closer, really close, and take the time to listen, you will see behind the cracked car window patched with newspaper. A life struggling to survive, silent, lonely, and full of despair. A single mother sleeping in a car, an elderly veteran digging through trash for a meal, makeshift tents sprouting next to million-dollar mansions, all telling a heartbreaking, paradoxical story. Cars, once a means of commuting to work, have now become the final refuge, fragile and temporary, according to the Clark County Social Services Agency. Las Vegas currently has more than 7,900 homeless people, more than half of whom live without any shelter. When the shelters are overcrowded, they are forced to live on the streets, hiding in drainage pipes, in RVs or SUVs that have long been out of service. Many of them still go to work every day, serving in restaurants, hotels, and even casinos. During the day, they are employees. At night, they are homeless, and their resting place is the supermarket parking lot. Public restrooms became places to wash their faces and brush their teeth, to continue appearing normal in front of everyone the next day. Perhaps what makes many older people feel the most bitter is not that they have never witnessed a crisis, but because they once lived with the memory of a different America, an America where an assembly worker could still buy a house, send their children to school, and retire with a bit of security. But when right in the heart of Las Vegas, once a symbol of abundance, it becomes an involuntary refuge for thousands who once had jobs, homes, and faith. Is America still a place to start over? All of that is not just a reminder of the fragility of stability, but it is also a silent slap in the face of a generation that once thought, as long as you try and have faith, you will have everything. If even Las Vegas no longer has magic, then is there anywhere in America that still keeps its original promise? Is it possible that what has truly been lost is not the roof over our heads, but the belief that America will never leave anyone behind? Can you believe it? In one of the most expensive and luxurious cities in the United States, there are residents who have to live in rolling coffins. You heard it right, because that is the terrifying reality that the poor residents of Summerlin in Las Vegas are facing. Summerlin used to be one of the most stable and peaceful neighborhoods in Las Vegas, the streets shaded by palm trees, the clean houses with meticulously trimmed lawns. But recently, the residents here have started to notice something off. The old RVs parked close to the sidewalk, neither coming nor going, just lying still as if they had taken root. And then, the clattering of the gas stove at night, a hastily discarded trash bag by the tree trunk, and the bewildered gaze when someone accidentally looks inside. According to Las Vegas law, living in a vehicle in residential areas is illegal. But the reality shows the opposite. as more and more people are forced to turn their cars into homes because they can't afford the rent. The average rent in Las Vegas has increased by more than 30% since the pandemic. Many people still have jobs: store clerks, delivery drivers, night shift nurses, but their incomes haven't kept up with the cost of living. The only option, a car that can be locked and withstands the heat of nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. Those four-wheeled homes may sound free, but in reality, they are closer to the image of rolling coffins. They move to evade the law, changing parking spots every few days to avoid being ticketed by the police or chased away by the SWAT team late at night. Inside, it is a life so cramped that it feels suffocating. All the necessities are crammed into the back compartment. There is no running water, no stable electricity, no way to call this place home. Except for one thing, it is the last place where the unfortunate residents of this city can still stay. However, not everyone looks at those vehicles with sympathetic eyes. Many residents living near a street in Summerlin say they feel worried as more and more RVs uninvited park in front of their homes.
They leave trash, debris, cooking, having grill outs, they're drinking or alcohol.
Many people report issues of noise, unsanitary conditions, and even a feeling of being watched when they see someone from the car staring into the backyard. That is the price of social paradox when the poor cannot stay in affordable housing because they do not have enough income, but are also not allowed to park and live on the sidewalks of residential areas. They drift between grey areas, belonging nowhere, and not recognised as part of the community. The police can intervene, fine, and tow the car. But the problem does not lie in the car. It lies in the reason that makes people have to live in it. They can tow away the cars, but what about the fragments of hope and despair that are still stuck on the street corners? The Nevada Homeless Alliance is currently trying to reach out, encouraging people to call them so they can help instead of just calling the police. But they also acknowledge the number of people needing support increasingly exceeds their capacity to respond. Each car is a story, and many stories go unheard. We once had an America where being in the car was about road trip adventures, family vacations. Now, it has become a place where a retiree might have to stay for the rest of their life. So, since when, in one of the wealthiest countries in the world, has the car, once a symbol of freedom, now become a testament to imprisonment in poverty? Las Vegas, the city famous for its dazzling casinos and million-dollar shows, is now quietly taking on a new name: the capital of the forbidden zones. Not areas cordoned off due to organized crime, but abandoned patches of land where hundreds of homeless people have built a small society. Completely isolated from the rest of the city, patchwork tents, broken down trucks turned into homes, fences made of wooden pallets and tarps, all of these create a makeshift structure. Lawless, insecure, dark, and also hopeless. The paradox is that those lands are only a 15-minute drive away from the Las Vegas Strip, where tourists line up to pay thousands of dollars for a night of experience. But step inside, and you'll find a different world: no Wi-Fi, no clean water, and no functioning systems. According to reports from relief groups and local press, more and more informal areas are emerging around Las Vegas, often located near old railway lines, abandoned construction sites, and vacant industrial zones. No parking signs, no barriers. But the police are used to swerving around when driving through there, not because they don't want to help, but because they no longer know how to help. A social worker who once accompanied the enforcement team recounted that, on one occasion, he went with the support group to a camp behind the warehouse. We were no longer welcomed by anyone. They set up barriers, stationed guards, like a miniature village. But that is not hostility, it is fear. They are too accustomed to being driven away, having their belongings confiscated, or being chased away in the cold night. In such places, people no longer live, they are clinging to a fragile form of existence. In such places, people are no longer living, they are clinging to a fragile form of existence. For many Las Vegas residents, these areas evoke a sense of unease. Many people share that they feel anxious when those encampments gradually move closer to residential areas, not because they believe that homeless people are dangerous, but because that silent presence serves as an uninvited reminder the boundary between someone with a home and someone who has lost everything is actually very thin. And what makes people shudder is not the image of those sleeping on torn mattresses in the middle of the field, But when looking into their eyes, we can see clearly they themselves do not understand why everything has turned out this way. They did not commit any crimes, did not break any laws, did not harm anyone. They just become poorer, little by little, and then disappear from the system. When a wealthy city can spend millions of dollars to build more hotels, but has no room for those who once served in them, then, in the end, what is truly driving this country? Compassion or profit? On one side are the old cars, 2004 sedans with windshields wrapped in foil, turned into makeshift bedrooms. On the other side are the gilded hotels, where VIP guests pour Dom Perignon champagne under the bright red lights of the casino. Between those two worlds, there is only one road. Las Vegas has never been poor. This city used to be a symbol of opportunity, a place where people could change their lives overnight with a stroke of luck. But now, changing one's life has a completely different meaning. Hundreds of people are living on the fringes of life, literally, as they camp right on the roadside, in the darkness on the outskirts of the brightly lit city. No longer a one-night luck. Las Vegas today is a place where the life-changing formula has been reversed. Data shows that 14.2% of the city's population lives below the poverty line, with income inequality ranking among the highest, while the city's residents have to rummage through trash next to convenience stores. Along the Strip, new hotel projects continue to spring up endlessly, each room costing hundreds of thousands of dollars to build, serving those who can spend a few $1,000s in just one evening. People began to wonder, how can the city spend billions to light up the night sky, but can't even provide a safe shelter for those living in the darkness? The ostentatious wealth not only dazzles people, it also makes poverty seem like an annoyance. In Las Vegas, being poor is not just about lacking money. It is a state of being erased from the frame. It's when you are no longer considered a part of this city. It's when you sleep in your car, stay silent, don't turn on the lights, because you're afraid of being chased away, afraid of ruining the tourist aesthetic. That is the paradox. The poor are seen as a threat while gambling, drinking. And billion-dollar companies are praised as tourist attractions. A city that thrives on luxury, yet slowly dies from its own neglect of the people living at the bottom. Somewhere, between a Las Vegas that shines every second and a Las Vegas no one dares to step into at night, lies the void of social conscience. Are we building more castles of light to hide how many lives are living in darkness? There is a simple yet brutal truth happening in Las Vegas, and across America wages are stagnant, while prices keep soaring. It's no longer financial pressure. It is a silent migration from apartments to cars, from mattresses to the front seats of old sedans. A one-bedroom apartment in Las Vegas now rents for an average of over $000 per month, an increase of nearly 35% in just the past 3 years. But the minimum wage in Nevada remains $25 without insurance, which is about $800 a month before taxes, even with 2 part-time jobs. Many people still can't make ends meet. And as a result, they have to pack their entire lives into the trunk of their car. They shower at gas stations. They cook with a camping stove behind the Walmart parking lot. Tens of thousands of Americans are surviving, not living, and not because they are lazy or not trying. They go to work every day. They still wear uniforms, but they go home to a parking spot. An elderly man, around 67 years old, formerly a plumber, now living in an unregistered RV in North Las Vegas, quietly said, "My pension is just enough to buy gas and instant noodles. If I happen to get sick, I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep living." The injustice lies in the fact that prices rise because of the market, but incomes stagnate because of the system, a system that prioritizes profit over survival. A system that makes having a roof over one's head a privilege rather than a basic right. And even more heartbreaking, many elderly people who once paid taxes, who contributed to building this America, are now asking themselves every night, do I have enough gas money to turn on the air conditioner to sleep tonight? We are living in a time where just one medical bill, 1 month of unemployment, or one shock in rent prices is enough to send a family spiraling uncontrollably. Not because they are weak, but because the system no longer holds them up. And if even those who were once pillars are now crumbling, what is really being frozen? Income, compassion, or the future of an entire generation? The COVID-19 pandemic has faded from the news, but for many people in Las Vegas, it has never left. Not because they are still sick, but because they are still living in the aftermath of a storm that America has not truly recovered from. Because not everyone gets to go back to normal. In the scorching alleys of Las Vegas during the summer, you will still encounter people who once had stable jobs: drivers, hotel staff, hairdressers, now lining up for free food or sitting silently in their cars, trying to find a spot with public Wi-Fi to apply for assistance. When the city shut down, thousands of people lost their jobs, but when the city reopened, not everyone was called back to work. Those who are too old or have had severe COVID are left behind. Even many elderly people are still carrying medical debt from their hospitalizations in 2021, a financial scar that they will never recover from. There is a woman in her 60s who used to work in the hotel industry, now living in a parking lot behind a church. She recounted that she was laid off during the pandemic and then lost her home when she couldn't pay the mortgage. The federal government once promised not to leave anyone behind. But in reality, the relief programs were only enough to delay the inevitable. When the support package ends, when the eviction moratorium expires, a wave of homelessness erupts like an undercurrent that no one can stop. And the bitter irony is Las Vegas, once a place that promised a life-changing dream in a single night, is now a place where many have lost their entire lives after just one season of the pandemic. The wounds are no longer present in the lungs, but have taken root in the psyche, in the empty bank accounts, in the sleep filled with worries. And the most ruthless thing is, there is no vaccine that can heal the feeling of being forgotten. So if a pandemic only takes 2 years to push millions of people to the bottom, but after 3 years they still can't get back up, is it the virus's fault? Or the way we are recovering? America was once built on the belief that if you work hard, you will have a place to call home. But in Las Vegas today, that belief is shattering into pieces, like the peeling paint on the old walls of a community support center that has just been closed due to lack of funding. Behind the glitz of the casinos, there are long lines of people waiting for food vouchers. The elderly are jostling to receive free medical checkups at makeshift healthcare stations. They are not idle. They once worked in hotels, bus stations, and factories, places where they contributed to the city's rhythm for many years. But when that wheel stops turning, they are the first to be thrown off and never brought back. We have a healthcare system, but the elderly cannot afford medical treatment. We have housing, but rental prices have increased by 40% in just 5 years. We have welfare programs, but they are overloaded, complicated, and severely understaffed. Some even say they have to wait up to 6 months to have their housing assistance approved while they are sleeping in their cars with just a bottle of water and a handheld fan. We have designed a relief system, but we did not design it for real people. It was built with paperwork, codes, and procedures, not with compassion. Those who have paid taxes their whole lives now have to stand in line under the scorching sun just to receive a temporary accommodation voucher. Meanwhile, the city's budget still spends millions of dollars to organize events, to beautify the tourist area, where tourists stop by for a few days, while the locals are forgotten forever. The system did not collapse overnight. It cracks gradually, smoldering with each time a form is overlooked, each time a community center is closed, each time people choose a budget for development instead of a budget for humanity. If a system only works well when you are healthy, young, and wealthy, is it still a system for people, or just for some people? Las Vegas is not just a city, it was once the grand stage of the American dream. Here, people come not just to try their luck, but to dream big. The neon lights were once a symbol of hope for a different life, a gamble that could change one's destiny. But that light no longer shines on the roads of hope. It reflects on the windshields of old cars, where hundreds of people are trying to sleep overnight, not to wait for fortune, but to forget a day of hunger. Rekindling the light for Las Vegas is not about brighter signs or taller hotels. It's a story about people. How can a city once known as the entertainment capital of the world save its own residents who are collapsing in its shadows? The answer does not lie in a single relief policy. It requires a shift in perspective, from viewing the homeless as a social issue to seeing them as an integral part of the community. When one person is left behind, the entire city falls behind with them, because development without compassion is just a blind race forward. It can start with very small things, an emergency rental assistance program that is truly accessible, a network of community centres open 24/7, safe overnight parking lots for people living in their cars, with restrooms, electricity, and someone to listen. No one is born to live in an old sedan. And no one should be forced to live like that just because housing prices are rising too quickly while wages remain stagnant. Reignite Las Vegas, not with LED lights, but with the hearts of its people. True light must come from the darkest places. Do we dare to believe that a city that once turned magic into reality can also turn compassion into action? Las Vegas, once the envy of the world for its opulence, now silently witnesses a quiet yet widespread crisis. The people who once dreamed of the future are now fighting every night just to survive. In the city of light, too many lives are gradually fading into darkness, not because they chose to, but because an entire system has turned its back on them. We cannot change the past, but perhaps we still have a chance to change the way we view the present and act for the future. If tomorrow, the ones being pushed out of their homes are friends, family, or even you, how much longer can we continue to turn a blind eye? What do you think about the homelessness crisis in Las Vegas? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel and stay updated with our freshest videos. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video. This video is created to analyze and reflect a real slice of life in Las Vegas, with the aim of sparking reflection and positive dialogue within the community. All information, images, and data are illustrative, cited from public and reliable sources. We do not hold any individual or organization responsible, nor do we draw absolute conclusions. Viewers are encouraged to approach the content with an open mind and continue exploring from various perspectives.